guys, I got robbed. Yes, I got robbed in Germany. So a few days ago, I was traveling, and it was one of those days I wasn't feeling my best. I was going through a bit at that time, so medically as well health wise. So I was really tired. I just wanted to sleep. So my people, I bought an ICE ticket. So if you see some of my posts on Instagram, I've posted that it's actually free for you to travel around Germany, sort of free, when you buy a 50 euro ticket, which is the Deutschland ticket, the Germany ticket. You can travel everywhere in Germany for free. It will take a little longer for you to get there because then you're using local and regional trains, but you get there. That's how I thought to myself that, oh, I'm not feeling too well, I'm going to get an ICE ticket. An ICE ticket is like an intercity train, and they're usually faster. A journey I would probably make for 8 hours, an ICU could get me there in 5 hours to get. So I said to myself, ICEs are kind of the ticket you buy when you just want to have a little extra comfort and some quietness and all of those. That's how I went to go and buy ICE ticket, my people. I got into the ICE train, sat down. I sat down right beside the window. Somewhere during my travel, when I was getting closer to Frankfurt, I was tired of studying because I was reading, and then I slept off. Only to wake up at Frankfurt because someone had come to sit beside me.
Who the hell is this guy?
So this guy was coming to sit beside me, and he was putting his luggage on the overhead, space there. And while he was doing that, he's moving around, kind of woke me up. And I just was looking at him, and then he was trying to sit down, and I was wondering, why is this guy trying to sit down where I kept my bag?
Why?
I'm like, did he even notice that my bag is there? He didn't even ask me to take away my bag or something, and he just wants to sit down. Like, why is he trying to sit down with my bag? So that phase when you're trying to wake up, you have not really woken up, but you're still trying to figure out what's going on around you. But then you don't want to be a village girl while you're doing that. So that's what I was doing. But then I looked down, just noticed that my bag wasn't there anymore where I had kept it. I asked him, did you see my bag? He was like, what bag? Guys, this was my backpack with my laptop, my second phone, my jewelry, and some really important stuff like my wallet, and everything was in this bag. My travel stuff, everything was in this bag. And this guy was asking me what bag. I stood up. I told him, give me a minute. I stood up. I looked under the chairs. I looked on the overhead lockers. I went back and forth on the coach. I didn't see anything. Good enough, my keys was also in this bag. So, and on my key, I had an air tag. If you don't know what an air tag is, this is what it looks like. I had an air tag, and my air tag was linked to my phone. So I was trying to use my phone to link to where my key is. Okay. So I turned on my phone, and the thing was trying to say, was saying I should move closer to the object. I'm like, I don't even know where the object is. It was like I should move closer to, as if to say the object is around here. I should move closer. I went back and forth on the same coach. I didn't say it. I was not wondering, did somebody help me to carry my bag to another coach? That wouldn't make any sense. And trust me, guys, I have never, till before this time, heard that it ever happened to any other person. I never knew it was possible to be robbed. I never knew. I was just being calm and being collected. Like, let not think that I'm an agbero. Let me just be, acting like, okay, this is gonna solve itself. This problem is gonna pass, My people, that's how the train moved. And then all of a sudden, my tag was telling me, your stuff is still in Frankfurt. I was like, what? Did someone just move my stuff? So I took note of the chair where I was sitting. I still remember it. I took note of the chair I was sitting, the coach where I was in, and I went to report it. I met one of the staff, and she was like, oh, they took your bag. Oh, again, this happens every day, every time. I'm like, every day, every time on ICE. And you people there have by now have not done anything about it. But I was still, I didn't, you know how you don't want to break, you don't want to scar yourself in public because you are still trying to find your bag first so that you are sure. You want to still know. I've not really clicked that somebody can thief my thing in Germany. Whew. I went to meet the chef, which is like the chef, the boss of the train, like the person in charge of the train that day, of welfare on the train that day. I went up to him. I was like, oh, what can we do? He said I should show him where I was sitting. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe he wants to take notes or something. This man followed me all the way back. I think I was sitting in coach 6 then, and this ICE was long. It had like 12 coaches. Was it up to 12? But I know it was really long because we had to take a very long walk back. Oh, we're in coach 10. So he was in coach 10. My seat was in coach 6. Good. So it's like 10 coaches or so, maybe a little more. I don't know. So this guy followed me back to coach 6 where I was sitting. I showed him this is where I was sitting. The guy was there, the guy who just came in. I told him Eddie was the guy who just came in. He just put his bag up there, and I can't find my bag. You not believe this guy started being like, oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing. He was saying this in German. There's nothing we can do. Like he was making those kind of mockery faces. Okay. As the first time, at first, I thought he had a problem. I sincerely felt like maybe he had a neurological problem with his face because I didn't understand how somebody in this kind of situation. I just told you my laptop and everything was in that bag, and you have the gut anyway. And he was making faces at me. Then I realized it wasn't a neurological, it was a neurological problem, that he was just being silly. So I told him thank you. I literally dismissed him. This guy did not take a note. He didn't write my name down. He didn't note the coach down. He didn't note nothing. He didn't ask anybody anything. He just left. I knew I was on my own. So by the time I got to the next stop where I was supposed to alight, which was in Mannheim, I got down. I went to the police. I reported it to the police. Surely I had to start saying everything that was inside the bag. I was just broken down because I didn't believe it. My laptop is like about a year old, which to me is not old enough, and it will never be old enough to end for anybody to steal. But anyway, someone took it. So I explained to them everything that happened. They took their notes and everything. And I told them I have a tracker in my bag, and my tracker has shifted places from the barn hole where I lost my bag to a different spot. Can they ask someone to go around there and check? They looked at the address and they were like, oh, it's just another bus, it's another train station. So it's probably your tracker is probably not right. I said maybe some. Then she said maybe someone threw your tracker on the train tracks. I'm like, okay, that was possible. Maybe the person had already looked through my bag and noticed the tracker, or noticed my key and threw my key away because maybe just wanted the laptop or something, or that kind of thing. I believed them. I went back home. And at night, I will be, I was up till like midnight because it was a hard day. I was up till like midnight refreshing my tracker, and all of a sudden my tracker started moving. This next thing, it has moved to a new address. It moved to like two different addresses at midnight. I called the police. I called the police at Frankfurt. I told them, guys, my tracker is moving back and forth. Can you help me and check this thing? Because if it's moving, that means somebody is carrying my bag somewhere, and probably that person has not even realized that there's a key somewhere that has a tracker on it. Like, can you please check this thing out? They're like, okay, they were going to. So the police officers I spoke to on the phone at night were so much more nicer. Like, they really, really wanted to help. So she told me, okay, just stay up for the next 30 minutes. Someone is going to drive around and come back and give you a feedback. I waited, someone drove around, came back, and they called me and said, oh, they didn't see anybody moving around, so they can't do anything. I'm like, it's a bag I'm looking for, not a person. Like, can you please look around? I gave them the two addresses. They didn't do anything. Okay, after that, they were like, yeah, that's the best they can do. I should wait. People of God, the next day, I packed myself. I had a shower, dressed up, and I went to Frankfurt. I said, no, I have to track this thing down myself. Since the police not going to do anything, I'm going to track myself down myself.
It's time to take matters into my own hands.
And they also warned me anyway that even if I went there myself, I can't go into people's apartments. I can only just know the place. I said, okay, no problem. Let me at least know the address. I just want to find out the address. So I found out the address. I went to the place, followed the tracker. On getting to the address, like on getting to the building, my tracker started saying the object is nearby. I'm like, you, my stuff is here. My bag, oh God. Like, I had gold jewelry in that bag. That's the most annoying part. I just got that gold jewelry. And the thing was telling me that it was somewhere around there. So what I did was I looked around. I asked people around, did you see any bags? Or did you see anything? Did you see anything suspicious around here? I'm looking for my bag. I actually told the guy there that I forgot it. and maybe someone has lifted it and my tracker is saying it's around here. The guy was like, oh, that this place is actually a dangerous place to leave your stuff. People usually steal here. I'm like, I'm in the right place now. If this is the place they usually steal and my stuff I've lost, then I'm in the right place. He gave me an address, and the address was for a building, like a building complex. I had to go and call the police. I went back to the police because I can't just break into people's houses now. So on getting there, I told them that I showed them the police report from the previous day, and I was like, my tracker has been pointing to a particular address. I even showed them my phone, and I told them I went to this address, and my tracker suddenly wrote, the object is nearby. Move around for better signal. They were like, okay, that the best they can do was to help me get into the building, but they were not going to go into individual houses, as individual apartments. So I thought that was fine. I believed that if I walked maybe down the apartment, like up and down the apartment, probably I'll get more signal and it will give me more direction. So we did that for the first building. It didn't come up. I told them, can we try for the other buildings that are around the same place? So like a building, like apartment complexes joined together. I don't know how to explain it. So we went to the first one, to the second one. And then by the time we are done, they were like, that there's not much they can do for me anymore. They have to go back to the station. I agreed. God, when they left, I wept. Because it felt like I was so close to my stuff, but I couldn't do anything about it. And the police were not about to trust my tracker or trust the information I was giving for whatever reason. So I was broken, like I just wept. And then I just thought to myself, why not just check around the house, check the dustbin, test the trash area. So I took my phone to the trash area, putting my phone close to all the trash cans, everything, touching all the nasty stuff to see maybe if the signal will get stronger. It didn't get stronger. Then I came out of the trash area and felt, oh, let me just walk behind the house. All of a sudden, my tracker said, oh, you have your keys. I'm like, I don't have my keys.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you have your keys. So I turned it on, and then he started showing me an arrow. Guys, this is what I found. So I found my book in the trash. The tracker itself, I found in the bush on the side. So somehow, maybe this person realized that this was the tracker and threw the tracker in a different direction. But the person wasn't smart enough to throw it farther away, but it was just close by. And then by the time I turned right and looked down the staircase, all my stuff was torn apart and thrown on the floor. My clothes, my wallet was torn apart, and everything except for my passport photographs were taken. Everything else was taken. I called the police back, and it took a while. It took about 20 minutes before the police came back. They got back. I didn't touch anything anyway. The only thing I touched was my tracker. And then I let them take pictures of everything. So they took pictures of it. They found the book and where they found my stuff and all of that. And they were like, okay, what about the most important things? Apparently, the person who took the bag probably realized that was real gold that I had. So the person took it because I just put it in like a cheap plastic container. So the person probably felt this could be worth it and took it with them. My laptop was surely not there. The bag itself was surely not there. All my cards, membership cards and bank cards and all the cards possible, even my residence permit card. So they just took pictures, asked me to take whatever I felt I still wanted to take. I was glad my keys were there. So I took my keys because the day before I had to call the housemaster to help me open my door. So I was glad my keys were there. And I'd even left to Frankfurt with my doors open. Hey, God have mercy. So guys, this became like a pivotal time for me in my journey living in Germany. And I feel like I should share some lessons that I learned from this whole experience. Number one, invest in a tracker. Get a tracker. I, for one, use an AirTag because I have an iPhone now. But invest in a tracker. Find out a tracker that works for your phone or your laptop. If possible, track all your important stuff, because without that tracker, I won't be having most of the stuff that I finally was able to recover. At least I recovered my clothes, some of them, and some of my personal stuff also I recovered. So invest in a tracker. Two, don't sit by the luggage. So unless you have maybe your luggage is on the luggage section, like I will insert a video of what I mean. Unless your stuff is on the luggage section, I would advise you to sit among where other people are sitting, like so where people are sitting around you, in front of you, behind you, on your side. If you're sitting in an area that looks hidden, you're actually a target and a prey for those kind of people.
The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives.
Thirdly, if possible, put your bag in the middle of your leg. Because I felt that I did the best thing. I put my bag beside my leg. So I didn't know when it left. So since then, I've learned bad experience will teach you good manners. Put the bag in between my leg, in between my shokoro. Nothing can be thieved anymore. Oh God, I'm taking this thing so lightly. But I have to move on now. One thing that helped me so much, and this is my fourth point, one thing that helped me so much is that I had a photo of all my important IDs. So I had a photo of my Alphabet status, which is like my residence permit. Yeah, good. I had a photo of that. So by the time I went to report that to the police, they were able to actually confirm that, oh, this is me and this is who I am and this is where I live. And it's also important because your life has to go on. Yes, you have other things to do and you will need to submit something to show that you're a legal immigrant. If you've lost that, then you have to go and reapply and wait for you to get a new one, and all of that process can take more than 6 weeks to even 2 months or even 3 months, depending on how slow your own city is. So make sure you have a picture of all your important documents. Number 5, don't carry anything too expensive around. Don't. I still regret carrying that jewelry with me because I felt I was going to use the jewelry. I felt I was going to go for an event, so to say. So I took that jewelry with me, like, okay, it was simple, it was classy. I had just one classy dress in my bag and just that jewelry. Or like, okay, we just this two, I'll be comfortable. And then they took it. So if you're going to travel, please don't take, especially those kind of travels, don't take anything too expensive with you. Okay, if you have to, let it be in your shokoro, You get it? Your shokoro. That's the only safe place you can keep such. Amen. Number 6, if possible, don't sleep. It doesn't make sense, but if possible, don't sleep. Really, try not to be dozing off. If you must sleep, maybe don't be alone on that travel, because every time I think back on it, I feel like the only thing I did that I wish I could do differently was not to sleep, because I felt like my life was together. I felt like I had everything in control. I felt like I knew what was going on. I'm not on the continuum of carelessness to being very careful. I'm quite far away from carelessness. Maybe not too careful, but a little closer to being careful. So I do not think that I was careless in any way. I had my phone and my tablet that I was studying with. And you could imagine, before I slept, I put my phone and my tablet together and put on my ties. That means somehow I was conscious to just keep my stuff close to me. But that person was conscious than me. So before I got to my next point, I was also told during all of this that it's possible that I was sleeping and the person got into the train, picked up my stuff and left. There was also another possibility that the person who stole it was also on the same train. So the person probably traveled to the next city, got into the ICE in the next city, then got into the train and looked for a vulnerable person to steal from. And when they found that I was sleeping, they slowly picked up my stuff and quickly alighted at Frankfurt, because I believe the person lives in Frankfurt. And in the midst of all of that, I also found out that these ICE trains don't have cameras on them. These train stations do have cameras. Did I say that correctly? They do have cameras, but then there's a lot of people moving in and moving out. Guys, this is Frankfurt. It is almost always crowded at the Bahnhof. But then they were like, there are no cameras inside the train. Only to find out a few days later that the regional trains and the local trains actually do have cameras. And I'm asking myself, what in the world was I paying for in an ICU? So I said to myself, ICUs are kind of the ticket you buy when you just want to have a little extra comfort and some quietness and all of those. Somehow they believe that everyone who comes to an ICU is can afford it, And if you can pay that much for something you could have as well gotten free, then you probably are on a different social level or social class. So you are not going to be stealing. So they didn't put camera in the train. These Agbero trains, these are the local and the regional trains where anybody gets in and anybody gets out because it's relatively free. Relatively free to get in is very so much cheap, so much more subsidized to use these days. So they assume that people who come here are people who are probably of lower economic class and are more likely to steal. This is my own understanding of everything that happened because I was traveling the other day on an S-Bahn and I was just looking and I just realized that there are cameras everywhere. And it would be difficult for something to happen here without it being able to be found out with proper investigation. Sorry, my German and my Deutsch are just my German and my English amazing all one down. They're amazing. So guys, I hope these 7 lessons of mine are gonna help you. Please watch out for yourself. The fact that you're in Germany, you're in Europe does not mean that everywhere is safe. Apparently, there are some Agbero people around here trying to steal your stuff. And yeah, I hope this helps you anyway. I must say, I don't know if the guy who was sitting beside me is watching this video, but if you are, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Because after all of that, when he realized that I was actually in distress, he gave me his phone charger. And that phone charger saved me that day and the whole of that weekend. Because I couldn't even go shopping. All my cards were gone. But then, and I had to freeze them and cancel them. So thank you so much. I don't even know your name, but you felt you should give me your charger. Thank you. It actually did save my life. Even though I was being all modest, like, don't worry. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I just want to thank y'all so much.
It saved my life. But I don't know if I really wish you're seeing this video. I really want to thank you. All right, see you guys on my next video. I loved making it, and I hope you loved watching it, and I hope you learned a thing or two. See you in my next video. Until then, I'll keep you guys posted if the police tells me anything new about my laptop or my stuff. But till then, have a nice life. Bye.
You make me feel like a man.